You weren't overlooked. You were hidden. There's a difference. And heaven has been waiting for this moment, because what's been buried inside you is starting to stir. The isolation wasn't random. The betrayal wasn't meaningless. The storms that never let up weren't just life. They were warfare. And still, you kept walking. That wasn't coincidence. That was confirmation. You are not like the others, because you were marked before the foundation of the world, before the attacks came, before the confusion hit, before the losses stacked up. You were chosen. But being chosen is not a crown. It's a cross. It's the weight no one sees, the calling no one claps for, the assignment that drags your soul through fire just to birth something holy. If you've ever wondered why your life feels heavier than everyone else's, why the silence of God feels louder in your life than His answers, why your spirit weeps over things others laugh at, it's not because you're broken. It's because you were built for something eternal. Welcome to Chosen One Sanctuary. This isn't just a video, it's a summons. A sacred scroll is being unsealed, and if you're here, it might have your name on it. Before you were born, you were set apart. Not everyone is called to carry that kind of weight, but if your life has felt like a battlefield wrapped in silence, that calling isn't a metaphor. It's your blueprint. Today, we're going to reveal the 7 spiritual trials that almost every chosen one must walk through. Not surface-level struggle, not inspirational fluff. We're talking about the silence that shapes you, the betrayal that blindsides you, the warfare that marks you, and the moments that nearly broke you, but didn't. These aren't just problems. They're proof. Proof that what you carry is costly, because what you're becoming is holy. Stay until the end. Because what's being revealed in this message may not just explain your pain, it may explain your entire life. Your scroll is opening, the marked and the misunderstood. You didn't choose this, it chose you, before the pain, before the patterns, before the questions you couldn't ask out loud. The seal was already on your name. Those who are truly chosen rarely feel celebrated. They feel misunderstood, misplaced, mishandled, because the oil you carry confuses the people who only see your exterior. They saw your struggle, but not your scroll. God doesn't anoint the obvious. He marks the misfits. He hides warriors inside wounds and crowns inside caves. Like David, you were anointed in private but sent back to the field like nothing happened. Like Joseph, your dreams made people uncomfortable before they ever made sense. To be chosen is to be set apart, not just from the world, but sometimes from comfort, closeness, and comprehension. The first attack is always identity, because the enemy knows, if you ever realize who you are, everything changes. This is why your whole life felt like a contradiction. You felt fire in your bones, yet rejection at every table. You saw visions that no one validated. You heard God in rooms where no one else was listening. You weren't ignored. You were insulated. You weren't abandoned. You were marked. And markings attract warfare before they release wonders. The greatest anointings come with the most misunderstood beginnings. The silence that feels like punishment. The heavens went quiet. The prayers went unanswered. And you thought maybe something was wrong with you. But the silence wasn't punishment. It was divine surveillance. God hides His weapons before He releases them. He silences the ones He's about to speak through. The silence was never empty. It was holy. It was preparing your spirit to hear whispers others would miss. Like Moses in the desert, like Elijah in the cave, like John in the wilderness. The ones who speak with fire must first learn the language of silence. Obscurity is one of God's most sacred classrooms. He teaches you how to stand when no one is clapping, how to believe when no doors are opening, how to worship when the heavens feel like brass. You weren't being delayed, you were being detoxed from the need to be seen, from the craving to be understood, from the illusion that destiny comes quickly. God didn't forget you. He was forming you. Your absence wasn't a loss, it was a strategy. The silence wasn't God stepping back, it was Him drawing you in. Betrayed into purpose. It always starts with someone close. The knife never comes from the crowd, it comes from the circle. Like Joseph's brothers, like Judas at the table, like Delilah in Samson's lap. Betrayal is a furnace, and God lets chosen ones pass through it. Not because He is cruel, but because purity costs pain. You asked why they hurt you, why they lied, why they left. But what if it wasn't about them at all? What if betrayal was your push into purpose? Every betrayal birthed a deeper anointing. Every heartbreak carved out more room for glory. Every lie cleared the path for truth to rise. The ones who broke you couldn't see the mantle on your life, but their rejection was your redirection. You weren't destroyed, you were defined. The fire didn't burn you, it branded you. And now, the same place you wept in is the same place you will speak from. God doesn't waste betrayal, He weaponizes it. The danger of delay. You told yourself it was too late, that you missed it, that you disqualified yourself, but delay is never random. It's either divine or dangerous. There's a sacred difference between waiting with God and wandering from Him. Jonah ran, and a nation almost missed its mercy. Moses hesitated, and the promise was postponed. Delay has consequences. Not because God is harsh, but because your obedience is someone else's breakthrough. When chosen ones pause, chains stay locked. When chosen ones sleep, darkness advances. You can't afford casual delay when your assignment is generational. This is the cost of the scroll. If you don't step into it, someone else may never hear their call. You weren't created to camp outside your calling. You were meant to occupy it. This is your wake-up call. Partial obedience is still disobedience, and every day you wait to rise, the enemy breathes easier. The authority you didn't know you carried. The warfare wasn't proof of your weakness. It was evidence of your rank. You don't fight hell like everyone else, because you don't carry heaven like everyone else. And that's why the attack came early, because authority reveals itself in infancy. You were born with keys you didn't even know existed. You walked through fire and didn't smell like smoke. You survived what should have buried you, because what's inside you is stronger than what's against you. Luke 10:19 wasn't poetry. It was prophecy. I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and overcome all the power of the enemy. Not some power, all. You don't just carry survival, you carry supernatural jurisdiction. When you speak, atmospheres shift. When you pray, chains tremble. When you walk, territory changes. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing. Heaven backed you before earth recognized you. You were always dangerous. You just forgot how sharp your sword was. Heaven's scroll, earth's assignment. You weren't saved to sit still. You were delivered to deliver others. Every chosen one carries a scroll, a divine assignment written in eternity and entrusted to your soul. Psalm 139 says it clearly. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Before the pain, before the pit, before the platform. The scroll already had your name on it. And it's not vague, it's specific, it's weighty, it's time-sensitive. Some of you are called to build, some are called to break generational chains, some are called to speak what others fear, some are called to create what doesn't yet exist. But all of you are called to move. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being positioned. The scroll is opening, and heaven is watching to see what you'll do with it. You weren't chosen to decorate the church, you were chosen to disrupt the gates of hell. The remnant is rising. You're not the only one, and you never were. Scattered across the earth are others just like you, burning quietly, bleeding privately, awakening slowly. The remnant, the ones who never fit in, the ones who see through the veil, the ones who couldn't give up even when they tried. You are not crazy. You are not alone. You are part of a divine insurgency, a holy uprising. God always preserves a remnant. In Elijah's day, 7,000 didn't bow. In Gideon's army, only 300 carried the glory. In the book of Revelation, 144,000 were sealed. You are one of them. And now, it's time to find them, to gather, to rise, to build what the world can't understand. But heaven has already decreed. This isn't just a message, it's a movement. You carry fire, but we carry each other. And when the remnant rises, everything changes. Echo activation. This calling is not just about you. It's about the voices your voice will awaken, the chains your freedom will break, the nations your obedience will reach. This is how heaven works, not in noise but in echo. One voice, one yes, one scroll unsealed, and it multiplies across generations. When you say yes, your children walk freer. When you say yes, your bloodline shifts. When you say yes, someone else finally hears God clearly. You're not just a chosen one. You are a catalyst. Your assignment is echoing now, through timelines, through regions, through hearts you'll never meet. Because heaven doesn't need you to be famous. It needs you to be faithful. And if you're listening, your scroll has already started unrolling. There's a mystery written over your life that even your pain couldn't erase. Every wound, every silence, every delay, they weren't detours, they were directions. You weren't being broken, you were being built in secret, disguised as ordinary, hidden in plain sight, preserved for a holy hour. And now, the veil is lifting. You are not who you used to be. You are not what they labeled you. You are not the echo of your past. You are the sound of something new being born. Chosen one, you passed through fire not to be consumed, but to become flame. You walked through silence, not to be ignored, but to be tuned to heaven's frequency. You survived isolation, not to be punished, but to be set apart. The scroll has found you. The time has arrived. You have been marked, you have been forged, and now you are being sent. If this message felt like a confirmation, comment 77 as a prophetic act. Let heaven and earth witness that you heard the call. Share what part shook your spirit or echoed your journey. Your words may be the confirmation someone else is praying for. Subscribe to Chosen One's Sanctuary, not just for content, but because the remnant is rising. And you are one of us. You are not alone. You are the next echo.